Hello students, today we are discussing the chronology order of some important magazines and journals. First one is Tatler, published in the year 1709. It was published by Richard Steele. Second one is Spectator, published from 1711 to 1714 by Joseph Edison and Richard Steele. It was published for 3 days a week. That is on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Next one is Gentleman's Magazine, published in the year 1731. It was published by Edward Cave. In this magazine, for the first time, they used the term magazine as a title. And in this Gentleman's Magazine, major contributor was Dr. Johnson. Next important magazine is London Magazine, published from 1732 to 1785. Important writers in these magazines were William Wordsworth, William S. Burroughs, and John Keats. Next one is Monthly Review, published from 1749 to 1845. It was published by Ralph Griffiths, and for the first time in English literature, they offered reviews for literary works, and that all those reviews were published in this review that is called Monthly Review. And in this Monthly Review, Oliver Goldsmith was an important writer in this review. Next one is very important work, that is Rambler. This periodical was published by the great Dr. Samuel Johnson. It was from 1750 to 1752. Next, there is the last important journal in the neoclassical era was Critical Review, published from 1756 to 1817. This was published by Tobias Smollett, and important writers in this Critical Review were Samuel Johnson, David Hume, and Oliver Goldsmith. Next are the important journals in the Romantic period. First one is Watchman, published in the year 1796 by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It was only for a short period, and the printer was Nathaniel Biggs. So the printer for Watchman periodical was Nathaniel Biggs, and it was published by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Next one is very important work, that is Edinburgh Review, published from the period between 1802 to 1835. And it was a most influential political magazine which promoted Romanticism and Whig political ideas. Important writers for Edinburgh Review are Leigh Hunt, Bertrand Russell, and Walter Scott. Next one is Examiner. It was published from the period 1808 to 1886. It was published by Leigh Hunt and John Hunt brothers. Important writers in this Examiner were Byron, Shelley, and Hazlitt, and Keats. and this examiner continued till the Victorian period also, and during that period important writers for this examiner were Thackeray, Jasmine and Dickens. Next one is Quarterly Review, published in the year 1809. This is very important in the Romantic period because the publisher was John Murray, and he was very much infamous for critically attacking John Keats in a review on Endymion, and gradually this led to the suicide of John Keats. So in this work, in this journal, John 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 Murray and John Crocker, one of the writer in this quarterly review, accused that Keats is a part of Cockney school of poetry. So, due to all these allegations, John Keats committed suicide. Next one is Germ. This is a magazine which was published during the period of pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. And in this magazine, all the important works of pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood published. Next one is the Atlantic magazine, published in 1857. Actually, it's an American magazine founded in Boston. Important writers in this Atlantic magazines were Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry Wordsworth Longfellow, and Harriet Feast. Next is All the Year Round, worked during the period between 1859 to 1895. And Charles Dickens published this periodical called All the Year Round. And in the modern period, important magazines were English Review, published from a period between 1908 to 1937. It was founded by Maddox Ford. And in this English Review, they have printed the works of Thomas Hardy. Next is Poetry, a magazine of verse, published by Harriet Munro. It was published in 1912. Love Songs of J. Prufrock of T.S.Eliot was published in this work. Next is Egoist, published between 1914 to 1919. And this Egoist magazine published all the early modernist poetry and fiction. Ezra Pound was an important writer in this magazine, Egoist. Next very important work is Blast. It was published by Ezra Pound along with Wyndham Lewis as the editor. Next very important journal is Criterion, published by T.S.Eliot. And other writers related to this Criterion are Virginia Woolf, E.M. Forster, W.B. Yeats, Ezra Pound and Luigi Pirandello. Next is Scrutiny, a quarterly review, started in the year 1937, and this was started by F.R. Lewis and Elsie Knights. And the last important work in this class is Critical Quarterly, published in the year 1958. It was published by C.B. Cox and A. Dyson. And in this work, they published many articles from fields like cultural criticism, cultural studies, poetry, and fiction. Thank you.